Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be changing the alternator in a 2004 Chevy Suburban. I mean, it's the same application on most of these, just about all these 5.3 Vortex. Yeah, I'm basically changing it because I'm getting a grinding noise coming from my alternator. I believe it's probably the bearings in it that's going bad. Like I said, it's charging fine. Keeping up the voltage, there's no problem there. It's just that eventually, I don't want to be somewhere and them bearings break, alternator go out, ended up stranded. So I'm debating, am I going to get a new one or one from the junkyard? I'm going to go up there and see can I get one from the junkyard, because a lot of those vehicles up there that crashed and they got it up there, some of those vehicles got like botched alternators, or some of them just changed the alternator, some of them got good alternators. So before I go buy a new one, which I prefer you do, if you're changing your alternator or battery, I always try to get a new one because you don't want to get stranded. But in my case, it's Sunday, and I'm trying to hurry up and I want to get this done. So I'm going to go. But if I can't find nothing up there that's good, in good condition, decent, the bearings, everything spin fine with no noise, then I'll grab it, because I believe there's a 90-day warranty on it. But if not, then I'm just going to go ahead and grab a new one, because that'll be the better bet anyway. But like I said, I'm gonna try this first, and I need to get this alternator up off of here. Like I said, charged fine, but it's just the bearings that's making noise. And I'll show you guys when I take it off. I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna spin it to show you what kind of noise. I will start it up, but I don't want to heat it back up, because I'm finna heat the engine back up, because I'm finna get a work on it. I don't want to work on a hot engine. So let's get to taking this off. First, you want to disconnect the battery. You want to take an 8mm or 5/16. You want to disconnect the negative on the battery. That's first off. All right, you want to pull that to the side. Then next, you want to take your 8mm. You want to take this cover off. Now, I done seen if you in a rush, you can actually get to this stuff without removing it, but it makes it easier to just do it this way, to just go ahead and get this stuff out the way. I mean, if you got small hands, you can actually squeeze your hand in there and get it done, but this way you don't risk breaking nothing or scratching up your hand, skin off your hand, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys done tried to do stuff in tight spaces and scratched up your hand. I stay hitting my knuckles or hands on something because I'm trying to squeeze it in tight spaces. Sometimes it's best to just go ahead and do it right the first time. Take a little extra time, but hey, get it done easy. Okay, now next, you want to take a screwdriver or an 8mm, whichever one you have. You want to loosen that up, because you're gonna pull that off. All right, that should be good enough. And then you want to loosen this up right here off the air box. You want to loosen this up. Screwdriver. All right. All right, and it should just come right off. See how it lifts right up, and then this might be stuck on there a little bit. Let me pull this put this camera down so I can pull this off. It's a little bit tight on there. All right, now you could just pull this, put that to the side. I mean, you can unplug it right here to take it all the way out, but I'm just gonna put that to the side because that's no longer in the way anymore. So this is basically what you got. Okay, you want to unplug. And guys, make sure when you get another alternator, make sure you get the right alternator, because for these vehicles, I think it's a couple of alternators. You got the 105, 105 amp and 145 amp. And I'll do another video to show you, in a separate video, to show you how to tell which alternator you got. I believe this one is the 145 amp and not the 105 amp. If you put a smaller amp alternator here, probably won't last as long. Less amps, it got to work hard. It can't supply the amperage that it needs to all No, the sunroof, door locks, radio. No, they put it in here in a reason from factory. All right, you want to slide that down right there. All right, guys, and this is, you want to take this off with a 10 millimeter right here. Like I said, you can make sure you don't want to spark anything or pop a fuse. Just make sure you take the negative cable off of here first. All right. All right. Take that loose. Make sure you sit this to the side in case you don't lose it. But when I go to the junkyard, I'm gonna get an extra one anyway, just in case I do the fool and drop it. All right. All right, take that off. Yeah, shout out to one of my members, Shay's World. She's been real supportive of my channel, and I just want you to know I really appreciate that. So shout out to Shay's World. If she's on my community tab, if you see her, go to her channel and make sure you tell her change for $1 sent you. And yeah, y'all check out her channel. She got a pretty cool channel, man. She do she go live a lot. She do cooking stuff. She do games. I think she right now she got a talk show thing going on her show. I think it's called I Got Time Today or something like that. But yeah, check that out. And she also, I believe, got a store too. She be doing like a lot of creative stuff, like trinkets and pillows and cars and cups, and she makes all types of stuff. She's very talented, so make sure you check that out. And if you guys support me, I definitely, I'm asking you to go over there and support her. Make sure you tell her change for $1 sent you. And let me get back to this video. Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna take the belt. We're gonna take the belt off. I mean, you can loosen up these bolts, but I'm gonna probably take the belt off right now. So to take the belt off, all right, guys, to take the belt off, you want to go to the tensioner right here. You see that nut right there? There's a 16 millimeter, and you want to act like you tightening it. Go to the right with it, and then when you press it down like this, lift the belt up. Make sure you press it all the way down, and it'll actually, this will let you take the, see how it's going down like that? It goes forward, and it allows you to lift the belt up. All right. All right, now I'm not gonna change this belt right now. Normally I take the belt off and inspect it, but I mean, the belt got a lot of wear in it. It's time for another belt, but for the people that don't, got a decent belt on there already, or just about a new belt, you're just gonna take this off and lay it to the side. Make sure you remember how it go on there so you don't forget it, but if you forget it, there's also a diagram. Some people don't have these diagrams on there, but just pay attention. You might be able to take a picture to make sure how the belt go on there before you do it. And then you take that same 16 millimeter right here, and you want to loosen these two bolts up right here. 1, 2. All right, let me get these loosened up, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, I had to go put on some gloves because I was tearing my hands up. Hands kind of big to be in that small spot, but I got the two bolts out. And if it's hard for you guys to get it up, just take a crowbar and pry it up. I know sometimes it'd be like locked up in there from that rust, or from just being never removed. Just kind of bump it up out of there with the crowbar, and you should be good. All right, guys, now let me show you the noise that it was making. Listen. You hear that? That grand, like metal to metal, listen. I don't know if you can hear that too good on camera. Let me try to do it again. And when it's spinning real fast, that's all you hear, that hovering noise, like it's grinding. So that's I'm gonna take it back and get one. Take it up to the junkyard and see what's going on. See, like It charges fine, no problem. It's charging up, but it's just that for how long? Because that hub bearing noise, just a matter of time for that battery light come on. So, and like I said, this is a 145 amp alternator. They come with 105 amp, but just make sure if it's 100, like I said, it's okay to put 145 amp alternator and the one that need 105, but it's not okay to put a 105 and something that need a 145. So just make sure you get the right one. Like I said, I'm gonna do a future video up in a different video on how to tell which amp alternator you need, but I haven't even got the alternator for this yet. I just want to take it out so I can get my cord charged, because without this, you probably have to pay like an extra 25 or 30 bucks, depending on what kind of alternator, until you bring the old one back, because they actually give you 30 bucks for your old one. So I need to take this off and take it up there and see if they got any before I go to the parts store and get a new one. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna finish recording this when I get back with the alternator, see what we get. All right, peace for now. All right, what's going on, guys? Got back from the junkyard, and let me tell you what I discovered. I was looking, you know, it's been raining bad here for like the last week. And I mean, it's just been doing a lot of raining, period. And in a junkyard, they leave the hoods up on a lot of the vehicles. So the alternators tend to get wet and rusted out. Some people don't got sense enough to close the hood back for the next person, in case the next person needs some parts. They get what they want and leave the hood up, so the rain messes up a lot of that stuff up under there. But I was looking, I was just about to give up. I was like, you know what? All of them gonna be the same way. It ain't no use. I might as well just go get another one. So I ended up walking back. I was like, let me just go to this last row. Went to the last row. Ended up finding a car that just got towed in yesterday morning, and it just stopped raining the night before. It just stopped raining bad the night before. So just when I got over, I see the good alternator is remanufactured. Like somebody just not too long put it on their vehicle, because look, it's not rusted or nothing. Everything look like it's in good shape. No noise like on the other one. So just hope everything charged, you know, and then we'll go from there. Let me get everything put back on there. Sit right down in there. Make sure it line up. Sit that up in there. Let me use two hands so I can push this down up in there. There's a lot of times you get these pins up in there, you got to push them up, knock them up from the back, or try to force it down there. Don't take no hammer. If you have to, put like a towel on it, take a rubber hammer, but try not to take a hard hammer to this. You want to crack them and knock nothing loose up in the inside. So let me see if I can get this pushed. If I can push this down. If not, then I have to go get the rubber hammer. All right, guys, you see that? I beat one of these forward a little bit more. Now just take this, take a hammer, or I got a crowbar, and just try to knock that forward. Like that one, like super rusted, but see that? But it ended up going forward. See, it went forward. So now, alternator should be able to just drop right up in there. Yeah, the alternator should be able to just see that? Drop right up in there, easy. Now, let me put the bolts through it, tighten it up. And I'm using the bolts that came with it, that I took from the junkyard, because these bolts look like they in pretty much good condition. Everything came off real smooth. Like when I was taking mine off, everything was like tight, almost rust-like. So I'm gonna go back in with these, and then I'm gonna put everything back together. But before I put the belt or anything on, you want to put these bolts, line it up, put these bolts in it, tighten it down, and then you start making your connections. All right, so let's get these bolts up in there and make sure the holes lined up. It ain't crooked. I'm gonna need to put this down for a minute. All you gotta do is just like lift it up until it go through easy through both of the holes. And guys, I failed to mention, like, make sure you hand tighten them first as you can, so you don't, make sure you don't strip nothing out. Make sure the alternator up in there straight. And then take your 15 millimeter. I think earlier I said 16 millimeter. And I didn't catch that till after I put it, and I meant that when I started back recording, I said I was gonna say that it was a 15, but I forgot. But it's a 15 millimeter for this side, not the 16. 16 fit on there, but it's gonna slip off. We started to tighten it, so just use a 15 millimeter bolt for these. 15 millimeter socket, I mean, for these bolts right here, and just tighten it down. Let me go ahead and get these tighten it down, then we get these plugs in there. All right, guys, got everything tightened down. I mean, normally you're supposed to, I'm gonna tell you guys the right way you're supposed to torque it down, but like I said, I have in my previous videos, a lot of stuff, I just old school it. I just tighten it up till I feel it's enough. Don't over tighten it. Don't try to break nothing. Don't try to be Incredible Hulk up in here, He-Man. So just tighten it up. I never had a problem from not torquing it. No. So, you know, to each his own. You got a torque wrench, then find out the torque specs for the bolts and then tighten it down. But I just use common sense when I tighten it down. So I got to plug that in, put the bolt and stuff back on. And let me just show you like how clean everything. See that bolt is, how clean that is. So I just took them off the other ones and put on here. But you could use the same ones. No biggie. And I still got my old bolts from it. But all right, since that's plugged in, now we're gonna put the belt back on. And then the last thing gonna be to connect the battery. So I actually gotta put the belt back on, put the air intake and everything back on, and then put the battery. So now just remember how you had this on. I didn't take the belt all the way off. I was gonna get another belt, but I can always get a belt later because the belt, that's easy to install. So let me let's get this taken care of. All right, now make sure the belt and everything on, just make sure it's on the right way. And I got this much slack in, and remember, I can't do it and hold the camera, but remember the bolt that I showed you, when you put it on there, you like turn it to the right, like you tighten it, the pressure forward to take it off. You do the same thing to put it up. When you press that tensioner forward, just like you did to take it off, it's going to give you slack in the belt enough to pull up on these grooves, and just make sure the belt lined up right and everything how it's supposed to be, and then it'll go from there. So let me turn this off put this down for a second and put that on there, then I'll turn it back on. All right, guys, there you go. And another way you could do it, if you can't do it this way by pulling it up on here, you could just you could put the whole belt on, and then you can make this last, like you can take the tension off of it, and then you can put it around this wheel last, whichever one easy, but it worked both ways for me. So now let's put the intake and everything back on like you took it off, and then I'll start it up, make sure it's charging and everything right. So let me put that back on, then we'll hook the battery up, then we'll start it up and see what we got. Another thing, guys, when you put this back on, make sure this little slit right here is lined up facing that bolt. That's how you know you got it on the correct way. And then make sure this is between these two rubber pieces. And then slide it, make sure it's up in there good, and then you tighten it up with the screwdriver or 8 millimeter, whichever one works for you. All right, guys, everything back together, nice and tight, secure. And let's see, yeah, top back on, that's nice and tight and secure. Now the last thing to do is to put this negative cable back on. Put this back on. Get my 8 millimeter wrench right here. Tighten that back up. Make sure that's tight, don't over tighten it. All right, make sure that's tight too. Just didn't have to take that out, but all right, now moment of truth. Start it up. Make sure everything is charging. Let me take this from up under the hood. All right, let's get in the car, see if start it up, see what we got. All right, let's start it up, see what we got on the voltage. All right, over 14 volts right there, like 14.1, 14.2. All right. Looking good to me. Let's go up under the hood. Already, I don't hear no, oh yeah. Everything's charging nice and neat. I don't hear that grandin sound no more. So we should be good. All right. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's the end of the video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.